Ladies and gentlemen, you have to see this chart. I'm being serious. This is the 200-week simple moving average on Bitcoin. And if we relate it to when Bitcoin has topped out historically in bull markets, it tells us something very major about when Bitcoin will top out. We looked at this in the last cycle quite extensively. It's been brought back to my attention as of last week, and I need to show you it today. I think you'll find it very, very insightful. On top of that, I'll be discussing the very precarious position that the DXY is in right now. Big things happening there on the DXY in relation to the cryptocurrency market. I'll also discuss the current macro range for Bitcoin and the very interesting situation developing on the S&P 500 and how that relates to potential strength in the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin is also finding strong daily candle resistance, which it needs to conquer very soon. All of this and more today, guys. Before we get into it, the Bitcoin exchange and the BitGet exchange. If you want an exchange that's global, non-KYC, that takes 15 seconds to sign up for with just an email address and a password that's never been hacked before, you can check out Bitcoin. And if you want a very reputable exchange, a top 5 in trading volume, very higher level of liquidity on this exchange as well, you can check out BitGet. The links are down below. They're both slightly different. They both have slightly different use cases and utilities, but they're both great exchanges, and I use them both personally. With my referral links down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount on either of these exchanges for your entire life on the exchange. You can't go wrong. Just check those links down below and let's get into the content. We'll start out with the very big topic here, the thing you might want to see the most. And actually, I'm going to do a separate video on how to identify the Bitcoin bull market top tomorrow, but I do want to bring this up separately today. So what we have here is the 200-week simple moving average, a very influential level in determining when Bitcoin has bottomed out in prior cycles. For example, you can see right here in 2015, we actually found support on the 200-week SMA, and it marked the bottom on both occasions of the double bottom formation there, okay, or the effectively double bottom formation there. In the following cycle, it marked the bottom pretty much precisely in December 2018. It also went ahead and marked the bottom on the weekly candle close during the parabolic downside drop in, okay, the coin drop we saw in March 2020, we marked the bottom there as well. So it's been very influential in marking bottoms, but what a lot of people don't know is it's also very influential in marking tops, okay? So how is that true? Well, what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and draw a solid horizontal line at each bull market top on Bitcoin and extend that horizontal line over on a price scale until it meets the 200-week SMA. And what you notice is that when it meets the 200-week SMA, in other words, when the 200-week SMA meets the price of the last cycle's bull market, we see the current cycle bull market pretty much top out. It happened here in 2013 when the 200-week SMA crossed above the prior cycle's high. We topped out in the current cycle. It happened here in 2017 as well when, again, the 200-week SMA crossed above or reached or got near the prior cycle's all-time high. We topped out in that bull market as well. And guess what? It happened again pretty much more or less in 2021. It was a little bit of an overshoot by 3 weeks maybe, but for the most part, when the 200-week SMA crossed above the price cycle's all-time high, we saw the 2021 bull market pretty much top out. Now, that's a trend now. Okay, that's a trend. That's 3 separate data points. 3 data points is a trend. We know that it's in the context of the broader 4-year cycle theory, which is a much bigger umbrella trend, which is suggesting that Bitcoin will top out in October 2025. This is where it gets very, very interesting. If we assume that when the 200-week SMA crosses above the price cycle's all-time high, we will top, we can then estimate when that will occur. And if we can continue at the current trajectory, and in fact, if we actually angle it slightly upwards, because we expect the market to go a little bit parabolic, right? And hence we expect the 200-week SMA to lift off just like it did in prior cycles. It's very, very reasonable to assume that we could reach that point in October 2025, which bolsters the 4-year cycle even further and makes this something that we need to be paying very close attention to. So, what does this tell us? It tells us that October 2025, the bull market top as per the 4-year cycle, is looking likely from an independent analysis perspective, okay? And also it tells us that the top is likely not in right now, at least from a regular cyclical perspective. So obviously if the top was in now, we'd break the cycle, we'd break all these trends, we'd be in the dark. It's possible, but it's definitely not likely as per the data. So I'm going to bring this back up tomorrow. I'm going to discuss it in full again tomorrow. And I'm also going to bring up 5 or 6 other things you can look at in identifying a Bitcoin top, all of which connect to the broader 4-year cycle. And I'll also look into the big question, well, what happens if the 4-year cycle breaks? And unfortunately, the answer there is very not good, or very bad, as people say in regular English. Right, so that was the main point of the video, but what else? I mean, there's so much going on in the market right now. We can discuss many more things. One thing I want to discuss with you just quickly, because we did it yesterday, is the macro range right now. Now, there's a few ways you can identify the macro range on Bitcoin, but I actually like to use these diagonal lines, these big diagonal lines. One of them stemming way back from 2011, but we looked at that a few times. We'll look at the shorter term ones this time. They're still very long term, actually. As you can see, I'll make it pink so you can see it here. In fact, I'll make it orange. A strong resistance line on Bitcoin, stemming backwards from 2017, cutting through the 2021 bull market tops, both of them, and then cutting right through the recent price action, is forming the upper level of resistance right now on Bitcoin. The lower level of support in this range is being formed via this diagonal line from the 2021 bull market on both occasions, and as you can see, it is bolstered on support on multiple retests throughout this range. So this range, in my view, is actually being kind of extrapolated forward from price cycles. It's not just a random price range with horizontal levels. The levels here matter a lot. They matter on a cyclical level because they stem from previous cycles. So we've got the support level right here in red. We've got the resistance level right here in orange. And we also have this kind of pattern formation here, this ascending wedge formation, which is coming to an apex point later this month. Actually, it's coming to an apex point on the 3rd of February, but later this month we will see the FOMC decision, and by that point we'll be so heavily compressed that I'd expect a move outwards by the end of January for sure. So this pattern will be breaking. It either breaks upwards, in which case we enter the next leg of the bull market, we see a parabolic move, or it breaks downwards, in which case we come back down, retest the support, and that's when things can get very ugly, because that's when we start to resemble quite heavily the 2021 top, which could be quite concerning. You can see that top there in 2021 would look quite similar if Bitcoin did move downwards here and do something like that. Okay, so that would be quite concerning, but it wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world. It just raised some eyebrows. Now, luckily, there are some good signs here, okay? We look at the S&P 500, for example. We know that all the markets are connected. We know the S&P 500 is connected to the macroeconomy, just like our Bitcoin is. So we can do some cross-market analysis here between traditional markets and the cryptocurrency market. And we can see that the last time the S&P 500 reached a retest of support from the bull market support band was back here in September 9th. We did that again just about a week ago here. And on September 9th, what happened there? Well, what happened to Bitcoin there is Bitcoin bloody bottomed out, okay? Bitcoin reached the end of an 8-month consolidation zone right here on September 9th, then went upwards and 2x'd in price in the weeks that followed. So the fact that the S&P 500 has bottomed out on that bull market support band against the odds within a bullish wedge formation, now broken that wedge to the upside, is now reaching all-time highs, is great news for Bitcoin. It does suggest that more strength is coming here for Bitcoin. But although there's strength here, although there's good signs, Bitcoin's unfortunately not out of the woods yet, simply because it has not broken this structure to the upside yet. On top of that, it's facing quite harsh daily candle close resistance right now, which it needs to crush, it needs to conquer. And as we can see on the DXY, just doing more kind of macroeconomic analysis, the DXY is very strongly reverse correlated to Bitcoin. So when the DXY goes down, Bitcoin goes up. When it goes up, Bitcoin goes down. You can see the Bitcoin chart overlaid with the DXY right there, displaying that fact very clearly, historically speaking. When we've seen Bitcoin bull markets, the DXY has been dropping and vice versa. So now that that's established, what we can see is the DXY right now is kind of in a breakout. However, the good news is it's threatening to break back down. So it has the neckline right here in this green box. It broke back to the upside after constant retests of support. And that's quite bad news. It's bad for Bitcoin, but it's good to see it stoop back down to the downside here. But just like how Bitcoin's not confirmed a breakout yet, the DXY is not confirmed a breakdown yet. Which is probably one of the reasons why Bitcoin hasn't confirmed a breakup yet. So we need to be seeing the DXY break down definitively. And we need to be seeing Bitcoin break upwards definitively. I know that sounds very simplistic and reductive, but it's true. Okay, we need this daily candle close resistance to break, and we need this support on the DXY to break. Do I think it will happen? I think most likely it will happen, yes. But it's not guaranteed, and there's no definitive data at this point saying that it has happened. It's certainly still something that's pending. We're still in consolidation here, so fingers crossed. As I said, guys, tomorrow we'll discuss how to identify when Bitcoin has topped, which we did a video on about 2 months ago, but it's good to have a refresher on that topic. get you, refresh your minds with that information. And also, I just want you to check it out. I know I mentioned at the start of the video, but it really helps me out and it helps you out as well by getting on a very good exchange. Check out the exchanges here: the BitUnix exchange, the BitGet exchange, global non-KYC, never been hacked before, very low trading fees, $5,500 in rewards in the reward center. Takes 15 seconds to sign up, guys. Use that link down below for BitUnix. Same story here on BitGet, except it's not available in the USA, but it is very high in trading volume and very high in liquidity, okay? So both good exchanges. Check them out down below with those links. Get those discounts. Get those rewards. And finally, guys, check out the VIP group on Telegram if you want altcoin trading signals. I'm not offering them for much longer. It ends on May 1st. So if you want altcoin trading signals, you've been thinking about it for a while perhaps, now's your chance, guys. I'm not offering them for much longer, at least not on Telegram. So if you want them 4 times a week, I post them there. Check them out. You know what to do. Appreciate it, guys. Subscribe, all that nonsense. See you later.